the system.
How's it going, guys? It's the Greenster, and welcome back to another episode of the Undisputed podcast. This week, our guest is none other than Toby.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I've returned. From the last time, you may remember me, I never shown up. But today, we might have another guest who has done the exact same thing of my last mistake.
That is true. Do you want to share what happened, Nathan?
You want to let them know, Nathan, who's not shown up this week?
Mr. Joe Golding.
He was bloody here last week, and we enjoyed having him on, but he hasn't turned up.
Very interesting, but it is what it is.
This week on the Undisputed podcast, we are reviewing our personal favourite films.
Ooh, little sound effect.
Very interesting.
Right, who's going first then?
How about Nathan? How about you kick things off?
Okay.
Set the time.
So the film I'm talking about is a recent film that was very good worldwide. It was talked about worldwide. I'm talking about Joker. I picked Joker as my personal favourite film because the actor that plays the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, sorry if I said that a bit wrong, but I think his performance in it, he did really, really well. Now, the story behind the film is how the Joker was made, really. Like, what drove him crazy and what made him turn into, like, just a normal living guy with his stepmom, turned out to be the biggest maniac in the village.
Happens on the daily.
So it starts off with him, like, getting bullied everywhere. Like, these kids, like, just kicking him while he's down, you know, little shits, really. Yeah, so it just starts off with him being bullied and that, and it goes really, like, deep into the person that's the Joker. Like, I don't even know, I'm quite confused what his job was. He just dressed up as a clown advertising something. I don't know. But he lived with his mum, and I swear, I've kind of got confused because I haven't watched it for quite a long time, but wasn't his, like, dad, like, turned out to be like Batman's dad or something?
I think... No, I don't think his dad was Batman's dad. All I know is the whole film is just him being an absolute lunatic. That's I know. He's just crazy. He does whatever he wants in the most extreme way. And, yeah, I guess that's what makes him an Oscar winner, really.
Yeah.
That's what does it. Being a maniac.
I'm very happy that he won an Oscar for it.
Yeah, he deserved it. Very much deserved.
Of course, my favourite scene is the most glorious scene. It's when I swear, just after he found out that he got adopted or something, he suffocated his own stepmom with a pillow.
Lovely.
Just killed her.
What a nice scene.
After she had a stroke, and the scene, his mates come round. He used to work with. His name is Randall, like a fat bloke.
Yeah.
With a midget. Of course, Randall, I swear, like, betrayed him because he said, because earlier in the film, Randall gave him a gun for protection, so if he got beaten up or something, he could just, protect himself. So anyway, these three guys were picking on a woman on the train. Anyway, because he has his laughing disorder, he just started laughing instead of crying. I felt sorry for the woman. Anyway, they didn't know that he had a laughing disorder, so they started picking on him. So of course they were beating him up, and of course he pulled out his gun to protect himself and killed all three of them. So once Randall snitched on him and said that he had a gun, he immediately got fired. And of course, after his stepmom's death, Randall came back round to see if he was alright, and because he betrayed him earlier in the film, he pulled out a pair of scissors and literally stabbed him in the neck and the head.
Yeah, that's a bit brutal. And
yeah,
it doesn't just stop there. And if I can add more description to that death, he stabs the pair of scissors into his, I think his leg and his neck.
Yeah.
And bashes his head about 3-4 times on the And when you think, oh, people will be like, oh, why is he still carrying on? Because he's a psychopath, alright? No normal person would just keep bashing their head into the wall, thinking, yeah, I just want to see blood go everywhere. You're mental. I'm not agreeing with that at all. But honestly, if that's how the film flows and goes, then yeah, well done on your Oscar win, I guess. But
thanks for clearing up that you don't think that's acceptable. Just for anyone out there that thinks that we condone that.
And I should ever do that.
But what gets me in this scene is because I forgot what the midget guy's called. Because that dwarf guy never betrayed him or said anything bad about him, he just let him go.
It was quite funny the way he tried to go though.
He ran out and trying to reach the door, but because he's so small, he just couldn't reach.
It's quite funny. Like I think that's the only funny bit they put in the film, just to give us a little breather. So he just tried to reach the door, but because he's a dwarf, he can't really just reach the door. But and he just goes sitting there, can't relax really, after just killing someone brutally, which is quite normal.
The scene after the scene I'm talking about now is when he fully turns into the Joker, because he wears the suit, he's got the full makeup on, the iconic stairs dance scene.
Oh yes, we'll get to that.
Amazing scene that.
Yeah.
I swear they were like recording that scene for hours and hours trying to get the right bit, and
I heard that.
They succeeded very well.
Yeah.
Of course, he dressed up as the clown because this guy called Murray Franklin invited him on his show. After he played a little clip of him in a comedian club, it went viral. Everyone liked him, so he invited him on the show. But because Arthur, who's the Joker's psychopath's real name, he wasn't dumb, and he knew the only reason Murray invited him on the show is to make fun of him. So he made like really bad jokes, offensive jokes, and of course, if you haven't seen the Joker, I guarantee you've seen this scene where he literally shoots Murray in the head.
And the famous quote, Nathan, if you want to say the famous quote before he shoots him in the head, everyone uses it. But
you get what your beeping deserve.
Yeah. Everyone's used that as a meme now. It's becoming internet worldwide. So, yeah.
But what I like about this film is the ending is the same of the intro to Batman's film.
Yeah.
Batman's parents getting shot by this mugger. And now you know that the mugger was one of Joker's rioters.
Mm.
So now you know who killed Batman's parents.
And as you said, ages ago, they actually got the death right this time.
Yes. Finally, they got it right. Exactly the same as what it's in the book.
So I think it's they've ripped the necklace, then shoot.
No, they shot and then ripped the necklace off.
Other way around.
Because normally he says, "Give me the necklace." They give you the necklace, and then he shoots him. But the way it's in the book is that he shoots him and then rips the necklace off and then runs off.
It was
so
a nice little
touch. They finally got it right.
It took them how many years? How many Batman films have we been through just to see the right?
God,
probably a lot.
Tens. Yeah.
There's been too many. Probably another one next year.
There is.
Oh God. I'm not watching.
We'll have to come back in a year's time.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's my film, Joker. I bet people are thinking I'm an absolute maniac.
Happy Gilmore music in there. That's what I love.
Oh yeah, the Happy Gilmore music.
When I first watched the film, I heard the Happy Gilmore music. I instantly started laughing because I would have chose this as my film to review, but I chose the one similar, but I just found it more comedy-wise.
So yeah, that's my favourite film, Joker.
And the Joker was a good movie because it really played on your emotions. Because 1 minute, like Toby was saying, you think the Joker's one of the most deluded people in the world, other than Ty from Arsenal Fan TV. And then a few moments later, you kind of feel sorry for him, which is why that was an interesting movie.
But now, after I've watched that film, I can't really hate the Joker because it wasn't his fault. He was just an ordinary man, just living in the village. But because so many people pissed him off and bullied him. It just drove him crazy and he wanted to kill everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not his fault.
Well, you could try not to kill people in the future, but what's done is done. Do you want to move on to yours, Toby?
Yes, I will. We're going to move on to a very funny film in the comedy section. So I think it's just beyond comedy. You know those films that, you know, they take comedy stupidly. They just do stupid things that make it just funny. This is that film. And it is A Million Ways to Die in the West. You probably haven't seen it. It's just an underrated film.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It is, and it's produced by one of the most underrated actors, in my opinion, Seth MacFarlane. He's the guy who, like, some of the most famous characters, Quagmire, Peter, everyone. And he did, obviously, Ted. Great film as well. Ted 1 and 2, he played the Ted. And he's a brilliant actor in this film as well. But this film, story to it just makes no sense. It's literally a cowboy growing up with sheep, on a farm, and he wants to become a better cowboy, but it doesn't really go well. So he's growing up, and he breaks up with his girlfriend, right? Who dates one of the rich businessmen at that time. And then it just goes from there. The comedy just builds it up. It makes no sense. And it's kind of similar to Joker, the gory death scenes. There's so many weird ways to die in the West. And there's a scene in this film. It just, honestly, so they're in a pub, right? And the guy puts his cigar in another bloke's whiskey. So he pulls out a double-barrel shotgun and shoots the guy. And then millions of fucking cowboys just go running in and then just start fighting each other in the most glorious way possible for no reason. They just fight everyone. And then you could see stuff like, your arms being snapped back. It's just, it's really weird. I just find it funny. Just the way the arm just snaps back on one of the bloody scenes. It just makes zero sense. But back to the backstory. He was growing up to be a better cowboy, and he gets a new handgun, yeah? And he meets a new someone that becomes his girlfriend later in the film, who's the enemy he's trying to shoot and trying to kill at the end movie in the duel. Do you know in, like, cowboy days, they do that duel? Like, they pull the pistol out of their thing, and then they just shoot each other.
Yeah.
Like, whoever first shot. That's what they're trying to do at the end of the movie. And he first starts practicing his accuracy of shots in, like, this fair. That was it, the fair place. And he literally, you know those, like, stalls where you just got to shoot and then you win a duck or something? One of those stupid fair games.
Yeah.
They just feel sorry for you. They just give you prizes anyway. And he misses all his shots, by the way. And then his girlfriend that he meets, a new person. And then she honestly hits every target on the board, every single target. And then she wins a fluffy pillow. Like, are you joking? It's stupid. And then, honestly, because back in them days, black people were not treated equally. And honestly, they bring a bit of controversy to this scene. So, the name of the stall was called what's it called? The name of the game was called The Runaway Slave. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy who owns the thing, the stall, the black guy walked up and was like, oh yeah, I'll take a shot. And the guy pulls out another double-barrel shotgun and shoots the black person. Very innocently and cruelly. And, yeah.
Innocently and cruelly.
Yeah, very cruelly. And say no to racism, by the way. Got out there and end racism now. I'll do a type, Black Lives Matter. But,
it's a scene that couldn't be made in a movie ever again, I don't think.
Yeah, because it's just too serious now to talk about.
Yeah.
But I've got to get into the deaths just before I finish up. There's so many weird deaths that just make the film funny. Like, there was, if you have not seen it, there's a block of ice, like a massive chunk of ice that they're trying to, like, I don't know what they're trying to do, they're just trying to, like, holster it up. They're just trying to holster it up, and it just falls and just like literally slams on the guy's face. literally slams on his face, and blood splattered everywhere. It's just weird. But overall, I'll say about this film, if you haven't seen it, Connor, it's a recommend. It's
I have seen it.
It's so hilarious due to the comedy. But I don't think Seth MacFarlane's won an Oscar, you know, and he deserves one. For what he's done, he directed that whole film by himself.
Yeah.
And before I finish, there was a cameo of the Doctor of what's that film called? Back to the Future. He walked in like this shed thing, and there was the car, Back to the Future car, and the Doctor was there. So a nice little cameo had in there, to be fair.
I remember that scene now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and then famous actor, obviously, who I think is a good actor as well, is Liam Neeson. He was in this film as well. He was the bad guy who got shot by poison, but we won't get into that. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about my film, really. Quite hilarious, to be fair. It's like it just ran both sense, but that's what I like about them films.
That's the second week in a row we've had a guest come on and just talk about some really weird things. We had Joe and his, whatever Joe was on about last week, that was kind of scary. And we've just got this.
Yeah.
Savage killings. But that's what you get on the Undisputed podcast.
Yeah, just things you've never heard of, but now you do.
Now people's going to go away and watch this all because of Toby. And we'll receive complaints.
That is fraud. But, yeah. Opinions on the film, guys. Have you seen it? You said you've seen it yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I've watched it a couple of times.
Yeah. I think if he hasn't won the Oscar, I think he deserves one for what he's done in his career. Like he's made like childhood like events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Family Guy and everything. So I think he's underrated.
Yeah, he's very underrated. Yeah.
Maybe that's a campaign we should start as a podcast to get him his Oscar.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane for the Oscar, but we'll wait another day for that.
Use our massive fan base to drive a change. So we've had the Joker from Nathan. We had Toby and his just absolute savage fest. And my favourite movie is because on the podcast before we like to talk about weird things, paranormal activity and all of that. So my favourite movie is Child's Play, the new Chucky film that was out last year. So basically it starts with this very angry Asian man. He's just a very angry Asian man. We don't really know much about him, other than the fact he decides to fuck up this toy. And as you do. It's a toy that then gets sent to America. It goes into a store. A worker at the store, who is a mother, takes the toy to give it to her son, who is a bit lonely as they've just moved house. And they build a good relationship. And, you know, they get along well. However, there's one issue, and when the kid gets upset, the little toy Chucky takes him what he says and decides to get revenge for him. Which sounds all nice, sounds like a good friend, you know. If Nathan had problem with someone, you know, I'd get involved. However, I wouldn't rip someone's face off, which is something this toy does. And it doesn't just rip off the face. He keeps the face and gives it... I can't remember the name of his friend. What's the name of the kid? We'll just call him the kid. He gives the face to the kid, who ends up trying to give it as a present to his neighbour, which isn't the wisest move, as her son is a police officer. And this Chucky gets worse and worse. He kills a cat. He kills the family cat. And there was a point in the movie where I started to feel a bit uncomfortable, because I thought Chucky was going to kill everyone. But obviously, the final scene, basically, the ending of it is quite nice, where loads of people are just it's not nice, but loads of people are just dying because
God, nice that everyone's dying.
Well, oh god, I'm gonna get cancelled. So people just getting stabbed in the neck with flying knives. Why did I say it was nice? There's no going back on that. And Chucky then ties up the mum. The mum's hot, by the way. The mum's actually quite fit. I searched her up.
What name by tying up? Jesus.
Quite hot.
No, it's not that. Oh, for God's sake, Madam Area. Oh god, it's not the tying up that makes it. Oh, fuck.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Keep it PG.
And the police officer, he's a nice guy. He's a good cop. He shows that all cops are good, which I think is important in this time. And he shoots the toy. The kid sings to it, and then the mother rips its head off. It's a fig tree, and then the kid and all his friends get a baseball bat and just make sure that he's a bit dead. And this is a good movie because it's similar to Tobys in the gruesome but funny killings because it's quite comedic. But also, I like the idea. Well, not the idea, but I believe that we will have something like this happen in the future.
Probably.
Because, well, if you just look at 2020 so far,
Can't get any worse.
And I could just see, for some reason, he's not here but he's not here. But for some reason, when watching the film, I thought about Joe Golding.
Why did you say that?
And I could just imagine Joe having an argument with Chucky.
Yeah, he'll be that sort of person.
Because I feel like their characters would just match. It would be a really good tag team. And if this buddy toy was to ever be released, I think, oh, this sounds horrible. I can imagine Joe buying one, is what I'm trying to say. Not even as a friend, maybe to be a parent to it with Joe. Maybe Joe will just train him into being some sort of apex sweat, which is what Joe's on right now, instead of our podcast.
He forgot about podcasts just to play Apex. Wet game.
Maybe we could get Chucky on a podcast. I don't know, we'll figure that out.
Oh God, no thanks. Oh, God Almighty.
Look, it's actually good because they've made so many Chucky films in the past, like from the beginning, Child's Play. I think the first film was around quite long ago, like 90s, 80s, somewhere then.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same story backline. Like, you kill the doll, but it just always happens. Like, he comes back. Like, they make millions of new dolls.
Yeah, because the ending of the film was there was this. They show at the end a bunch of the toys all lined up, and one of the eyes goes red or something, and maybe that hints that there's going to be another one at some point.
Yeah.
But I personally think this new Chucky film is like it's the perfect return for Chucky, because I swear the cameos before the new one, like, they kind of made Chucky not look like a horror villain, they made him look like a joke. I think that's what pissed people off, but I think now this new film's like saved him.
Yeah.
Saved Chucky.
There's slight attributes to his character that change, which I guess is just them adapting, and I feel like the concept of the Chucky toys kept going and going is because I think that it's very possible we'll have something like that in the future. Maybe that's just where we're heading.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Imagine us going to war with Chucky, the Undisputed podcast.
Jesus God.
Joe would be useful.
But anyway, it is a great film.
It is a great film.
I've seen the old ones as well. And, funny enough, I've not seen the new one and I want to watch it. But I understand the whole story of Chucky and everything. But yeah, I'm into horror films as well.
Last time we were talking about, Nathan, an Undisputed horror movie.
Yes.
Just putting that out there. Maybe one day. Maybe Toby could be in the
Harrison
cast.
will be the first person dead.
Bloody hell.
Why me, mate?
Do we do honourable mentions for like films that we put up there? We don't have to go into detail, just say the film. Like any film you think of that deserves a mention on this podcast.
Yeah.
I've got one. My other one is Jaws.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Classic film.
Yeah, that's right. It's a classic film. I just like horror shark films for some reason. I just like
Feels tension, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I like the ending where he goes, "Smile, you son of a bitch." He shoots and blows it up. Iconic.
Funny story. The first, if you want to know backstory to me, the first film that my dad went to see was Jaws. And
Really?
yeah, true fact. First ever film he went to see was Jaws, and he said for the whole week he went through nightmares of it.
Oh,
So
that's not good.
no, apparently it was that scary at the time.
Especially sorry if I'm changing the subject, but The Exorcist. They had like a trailer of the woman moving, and it was like bright lights, and they had to ban it because it made people so scared. But now, if you watch it now, it's not that scary at all. That's how like we, you know.
Yeah.
I like The Babysitter. I watched that on Netflix. But that's similar to Chucky and the
I just watched it for the actors, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, if you know what I mean.
If you know, you know. And it's the stupid killings, because the
Yeah,
stupid
innit? I love about that film. It's just so random.
and it's things like that that don't give you nightmares.
No, it's funny.
But it's like with the Ouija board, is that what it called, or Ouija, that movie, and the killings are a bit more serious. That's what I don't like.
I think it's fake, the whole weird conspiracy for some reason.
I want to do one.
Oh no, you'll be cursed.
Nay.
Do you want me to review my movie? Well, not review it, just say what I think it should be an honourable mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
This is one that obviously I love, but Joseph Golding loves as well, to be honest. And you probably know what I'm about to say. Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
People
That
from our
film-
schools going crazy.
That film is the best. Well, up there as the best. Honestly, it's just hilarious. The way Adam Sandler presents his comedy in that film, from going to a hockey player to a professional golfer, just to save his grandma's house. It's just funny. And the way he competes with Shooter McGavin in the film, it brings up the comedy in it. He's like, there's so many famous quotes that I can mention right now.
Joe knows the whole script.
I know the film off by heart. It's just so. I'll give you one quote. It's where his grandma's in the care home because her house just got put for sale. She didn't pay it and all that. So she's in the care home too. I think the actor was Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
And he's sitting on the bed, and as soon as Happy leaves the room, he was acting so nice, but then he enters his dark side, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I like a warm milk to help put me to sleep." And he goes, "You could trouble me with a warm glass, so shut the hell up." And he goes, "You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep. Check up the name tag. You're in my world, Grandma." And that, honestly, it's been mentioned a lot. Hilarious.
I can't say how many times you said that in science.
Yeah, I love the film so much. It is good.
Yeah.
I like
It's a good film, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sums up. I think people get a gist of what movies we're into.
Yeah.
Basically horror and comedies.
Yeah.
And that we could be doing our own one. Just a rumour.
To be confirmed.
So now it's time to move on to the Hall of Fame. This week, I will go first, and I'm inducting John Lennon because, personally, I think he was the greatest singer to ever live.
Ooh.
You know, he did very. I love most of his songs, like Imagine, obviously, Stand By Me, and my favourite, Just Like Starting Over. But I've got to say, the one thing about John Lennon I don't like is Yoko. My God, she's annoying. But John Lennon, I swear, even if you don't listen to his music, you've definitely heard of Imagine. That's how iconic and worldwide it's known.
The most famous song now is.
Yeah. And yeah, that's my inductee, John Lennon. Not Yoko Ono, just John Lennon.
I have one problem with John Lennon.
Yeah.
What?
And that's that he covered up one of the biggest conspiracy theories in UK history. Which I'm going to keep coming back to, because Paul McCartney, the fake one, if you're out there, because I know you're watching the podcast by now, come on here, if you dare, and tell us what really happened. An undisputed exclusive.
This is a dig.
No, because I'm not having this, because, you know what? I just want to reiterate from a past, I can't remember which episode it was, but I inducted Paul McCartney into the Hall of Fame, but specifically not the current living fake Paul McCartney, and I've done that with air quotes. You can't see it because he's fake, because the real Paul McCartney is dead, and he's the one that's in the Hall of Fame. Alright, I just want to clear that up.
Very interesting.
Bloody hell.
I would get John Lennon on here, but we can't.
So this might be a decoy of the real Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Decoy.
Decoy.
So I've got a bit of beef
Alright.
with him. Well, he does wear good glasses. I'll give John Lennon that.
Yeah. I swear he made one of his songs on LSD, or is that just me? Is that me saying that?
LSD?
LSD. Whatever. What's it called?
Isn't that a drug?
Drug.
Oh god.
Something else.
Oh, I don't know. Oh.
That's a conspiracy in itself.
No, he did. I think it was him. If you looked up one of his songs, he did one of his songs he did on LSD. You could look it up if you want. He actually did do a song on a drug.
For God's
Wow.
sake, John. Now it's like we're promoting drug culture.
Did not know that.
I think it is him. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's what I saw.
Start a war in the comments. Did John Lennon do a song on LSD?
I think he did.
Right. Connor, who are you inducting?
Okay. So I'm actually inducting a close friend of mine. You know, they messaged me once upon a time on Instagram when I was scrolling through the list of DMs I had, and I happened to come across theirs, and they was reacting to my story because I am obviously such a funny person, so they replied with a laughing emoji, and yeah, we've been friends ever since. So I'm inducting my jammer because, like I said, we are close friends. She's a great presenter, and if there's a chance we can get her on a podcast, she's quite busy obviously. Spoke to her just the other day, but yeah, if we can get her on the podcast, that'd be absolutely brilliant. And she is
Great.
yeah, she just looks great as well. Toby's right.
But sorry if I'm butting in, but it's actually true about the John Lennon thing. He made a song called "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds," and they actually did that on LSD.
Bloody hell. Well,
He did that on LSD.
bloody John. For God's sake, John, look what you've done now.
Ah, it was a Beatles
So now-
song.
Yeah. So now you know a new fact about John Lennon. He actually did a very most viewed song, got records on it, and did it on a very fucking high up drug. Sorry for my language. So you can put deep on that.
Oh God.
He talked about it on the Dick Cavett show.
Yes.
The Beatles come on to every single one of our podcasts.
They do, don't they?
Yes, all the podcasts I've seen so far, I swear every mention gets, like, I swear the Beatles get every single mention in it. The distancing.
We need the fake Paul McCartney to come on here. I don't know what your real name is, but we need him on here.
Okay, so the Hall of Fame is done for another week. Of course, let me just remind you of the inductees. It's Maya Jama and John Lennon.
Well done.
Of course, now it's my favourite part of the podcast. It's the Q&A for our guest, which is Toby.
Ooh.
So,
Or AKA a roasting session, probably.
so number one, Toby.
Yep.
When are you making your comeback on YouTube?
I get asked this question so many times, man. Oh, if you don't know, everyone's telling me, when is the return of TP Gaming?
We want to know.
Never.
Oh.
Ah,
I memed myself for too long, and I didn't realise. if you don't know, remember last time I was Kane, it's probably the biggest threat on me I have at the minute. So no, that is your prediction. I will probably make no comeback to. But to be fair, not on TP Gaming wise, I might make a comeback when we're back to normal and when football is going wrong. I might start my own football vlogging channel if that will make you happy.
Yes.
But yeah, I might start my own football, and I'm thinking of naming it some of the lines of "Your Average Gooner." That's my title, but we'll see. We'll see.
I thought it was going to be TP Vlogs.
No.
TP.
Alright, next question. Favourite singer?
Oh, favourite singer? They're both singers, but I don't think you've heard of them. They're really popular in the 80s. You should check their music out. They made one song. To me, I'm like this old-fashioned guy. I like 80s songs more than this.
Same.
Yeah, and these people, my mum told me about it because she was a massive fan of them back in the day. They had the hair and everything, you know that hair, the curly hair?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, the classic 80s hair. And they're called, the band's called Tears for Fears, right? You probably haven't heard of them, but they're two individually great singers in that band. And they produced one song that, made everyone just obsessed with them. Called Everybody Wants to Rule the World, that song, and that song just explains why you're living in this world, basically, like what life's meant to be about. And give it a listen. It's actually really it's good. It's actually good. If you're
was that song in the Pixels movie?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of it.
It was the guy when he was up on the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody. That one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
it's a great song, and the bands produce great songs in the 80s, but I'll put them as, them two as my favourite singers.
Right. Next question. Remember last time you was Kane?
Yeah, 7 years ago. WW 13, 7 years ago.
Next question. What's happened with AFTV?
I don't want to really get into this political debate, but not political, but it's I don't know what's happened to AFTV because we've just recently had, rightly so. I do respect Claude because of what he's been through.
Yeah.
In terms of his mental health and his depression and stuff, but it's not right to come out and say that about a professional footballer in that way. Because it's ridiculous saying that before we've just lost the game. You shouldn't say it no matter what. So it's rightly so. But we had this debate before. I looked back into the Troops one, and now I see why people were considering it more racist. And this is what I don't get. And I like Troops. I think he's a nice person. All right. But this is what I don't get. I think Robbie wants to keep Troops on AFTV is because he's his most valuable person to AFTV. I think he gets the views on AFTV, in my opinion. But overall, people need to understand this. I know things have happened, but we got to understand some of them people on AFTV are actually people that obviously care a lot about Arsenal Football Club. They're just giving their opinion on what should be right for the future of us. But sometimes people just go too far. But that's my opinion of the whole situation. Some people actually like good fans and they just want the best for us. Same as me. So I just want us to be back on top again. But the future will tell on that one. So, yeah.
Okay. So the next question. What's your thoughts on Dolby?
Oh, he's a legend. Legend of the game. Everyone mentions Dolby, you just think legend. He's top lad. Dolby is top lad. That's all.
Next question. Thoughts on Harrison?
Thoughts on Harrison? He is the geezer. He is. I hope the McColl's dealership happens soon. Because they're starting a business there. No, but forget McColl's. All right, forget the jokes aside. He's a great person. He's a great guy. I like Harrison.
Yeah. He's just someone you can talk to whenever you're feeling down. He always cheers you up.
Yeah.
Very, very good lad. Yeah. And next question: will you kill Joe?
Oh God.
Oh, well, I've said this a million times. Yes, I will kill Joe because he's on my case 24/7. No, I will not literally kill him, but he's a guy. I'll tell him you should do something. He completely ignores it. That's Joe. That's his legacy.
And the last question: what will the FA Cup final score be?
Oh, piss off with the FA Cup. I can't be arsed. It's a Chelsea-Arsenal final. I'm having to support Chelsea. Do you know how painful that's going to be?
It's another London. I want revenge for Baku. So bad. If you don't know Nathan, Baku, we lost 4-1 last time. Yeah, humiliation, embarrassment, and I want revenge on that day. It's another FA Cup. It's the same route as 2017. We beat City in the semis, and we're facing Chelsea.
Oh.
I know it's Chelsea, but I'm going to stick positive. I think that performance against Manchester City showed Arteta where he's going to take us in the future. If he gets back or not, we'll not know. But I think it's another London final. Wembley is kind of our second home. We play really well there. I'm going to stick positive. I'm still really nervous, even though it's 2 weeks ago. This will be the biggest redemption of our season and the biggest lift up for fans like me and stuff, because we've been through some horrible, horrible things this season. And if we win an FA Cup, I'll just be back happy again. Because first of all, I'm sorry, Connor. I will be talking about trophies again. But
no, you know what? You've had your worst season in, what is it, 26 years?
26 years has been our worst season, and if we finish on a trophy...
And you're on the final. It will kill me. It will break me. I need Chelsea to win. When Chelsea always play Arsenal, I always want to draw. I wanted Chelsea to win the Europa League final, and I'm going to want Chelsea to win this. But...
if we win, your Tottenham fans are going to feel very, 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 very...
We've just beaten you as well. That's the problem. We've just beaten you. Now you're one game away from winning a trophy that we desperately need.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
It's been on 26 years. But I'll wait for the final. I'm still nervous for it, man. It's an FA Cup final that obviously I desperately want to win. Especially Arteta's been here since January, so it'd be nice to him to get a trophy moving into next season. But if you said for my score prediction, I'm going to go with a classic score, probably in FA Cups that Arsenal usually get. I'm going to go over 2-1. Last time, same outcome.
So Toby, I just want to ask you one more question. It hasn't been on here, but I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on Freddie Mercury?
Well, my thoughts on Freddie Mercury? My thoughts are, Mama. That's that. I just love his live shows, really. Just everything. I've seen the film.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody. That is probably the most iconic song of all time.
Yeah.
Like, he put different types of, different genres of music all into one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All into one song. That's why I have respect for Freddie Mercury. But it's just, I don't know what to say. It's just like, he's like so into music. You know what I mean? He's like so passionate for it.
I do believe his live shows are better than the studio.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His live shows, he just puts so much enthusiasm into it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's a great entertainer.
Yeah, he is. Entertainer.
He's smiling at the minute on my wall. He's very happy with what you've said.
Mama.
Okay, so we hope you enjoyed the podcast with Toby. Thank you, Toby, for being an absolute great guest.
Yeah, my pleasure. That's me.
But we are not finished yet, as Connor has some news for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we're going to take, am I right in saying, Nathan, is it a 2-week break?
Yeah.
a 2-week break of not filming a couple podcasts. I know that is sad because everyone enjoys them. However, there's a reason for that. One, we've done quite a few already since the lockdown period, and we don't want it to become boring. We want to get different guests on when possible, and it's quite awkward for editing because Nathan's got a series he's making on his channel, but also we've come out with a new series, haven't we, Nathan, that we're going to be starting to do very shortly.
Yeah.
The Undisputed are going exploring. We're going to be doing some a bit. Yeah, we're going to be doing some haunted stuff. It's not just going to be exploring haunted places. You're going to be just exploring, different places with different reputations, and it should be interesting. It should be scary. It should be different. Just show a different side of us from the podcast, because you actually get to see us.
Yeah, not just pictures of us and our voices.
Yeah, but the podcast will be back.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's not like the break we've had last time, like a 4-month break. It's only 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
You'll live.
Yeah, you'll survive.
all right.
Yeah.
So that's our announcement. Again, thank you, Toby, for coming on.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.